So, kids ask questions that I'm often not prepared for. And this morning, Luna asked, Mommy, are you ever going to have another baby in your tummy? To which I replied, nope. Which wasn't the right answer to Luna, because she said, well, why not? And then I had to try to think of a thoughtful response, because nope wasn't the right one. So I said, well, you and Liam are just perfect for Mommy. I love you both so much, and you're the only babies I could ever need. To which she said, but having a baby in your tummy would be so much fun. And I said, well, for me, having a baby in my tummy was actually really, really hard. And the process of getting the baby out of my tummy was kind of scary. I said, it's not that way for everybody, but it was for me. So she said, but you would love having a baby in your tummy. And I'm like, oh man, how do I explain this in a kid-friendly way? So I said, okay, babe, so again, it's not this way for everybody, but you know how you don't like puking? She said, yeah. And I said, well, when Mommy was pregnant, I puked about 30 times per day for almost a whole year. And she looked at me and she's like, for almost a year? And I said, yeah, my body had a really hard time being pregnant. And she said, well, that sounds really yucky. I said, yeah, it was. Then she goes, well, someday can I be pregnant? I said, when you're an adult, you can choose if you want to be pregnant, yes. And she goes, well, do you think I should be pregnant? And I said, well, it's not up to me to choose. I said, someday when you're an adult, you can choose if you want to be pregnant or not. And she goes, okay, someday I'm going to have a baby in my tummy. And I said, go for it. I hope you have the best experience being pregnant. And I was like, okay, bullet dodged for now. But I really have to think about these conversations and how to have them with my kids, because I don't want them to be afraid of having kids. I don't want them to be, traumatized by my trauma. And I also still have to find a way to be honest about